That is awesome. Big old bass there. There we go. Oh yeah, now that was a noticeable suck. There you go, guys. Texas rigging it in the weeds. Weeds, Texas rig. It's always this constant challenge to find new water. And that's what I'm doing today, is going to scout a couple lakes that I know have good bass populations. Is there a good shallow midsummer bite? There's a certain set of requirements that I think need to be met in order to find a good shallow largemouth smallmouth bass pattern. That is the following. Got to be 30 feet or less in depth. Have to have moderate stain to it. I like a clear lake, but moderate stain, and very much eutrophic in nature. Lots of cabbage, sandgrass, you know, all types of weed structure, but it's got to be thick. And if you meet those three requirements, I'll give it a look. But you know, deeper than 30 feet and gin clear water, and I think you've got a lot of fish suspending over the course of the season, especially after mid-June. Those fish disappear from those clear water, from those shallow water spots. I'm probably going to be doing some Texas rigging in the weeds. I may start off with some power fishing. Lots of cool ideas. We're going to see what it takes to get these fish to go.
When I am scouting a new body of water for largemouth bass, my first move is to employ a high-speed run-and-gun search tactic to cover as much water as possible and locate the most active fish in the shortest period of time. Once I catch an aggressive bass on a high-speed lure, I mark a waypoint on my sonar unit, which allows me to easily come back to the exact spot and do some further investigating.
Got one. Got a fish. Oh yeah. There we go, baby. Nice. Nice bass. I'm gonna mark a waypoint here. Power fishing. Power fishing, guys. Trying to find some bass in this new lake. Get in here, baby. Oh yeah, right into the net. How about that, huh? Trying to find some bass in this new lake I'm fishing, and we got a big one, baby. We got a big one, finally. A crankbait, son. All right, now look at that. That is awesome. Big old bass there, and whew, as you can see, she liked the crankbait, and now she gave away the location of the whole pod. We're gonna go back in there and finesse them.
Largemouth bass school together, so once I catch a hot fish, it gives away the location of the entire pack, giving me the opportunity to go in with a finesse approach for the less active members of the group. One of my favorite finesse tactics for catching the less active bass that are rooted down deeper in the thick weed cover is the Texas rig. Once I have my boat positioned on the GPS point, I will make casts both parallel to the weed edge and perpendicular into the flat.
Got her. Here we go. Out here. There we go. Oh yeah, that's awesome, guys. Wow. All right, there is a little. Catch him on a crankbait, go and finesse him with a Texas rig. How about it? That's pretty cool, huh? Got me, man. I felt those big head shakes down there. Oh, that's a nice one. Yeah. Not bad at all. I will take those all day long. Sweet fish. I want to show you the setup I'm using. This is just a standard a Texas rig. It's got a sliding bullet sinker here or a worm weight, a size 1 offset hook here, and I've got a 5-inch rubber worm here. And so here's how I'm rigging this up. take the point of the hook, choose an end of the worm. It really doesn't matter what end you choose. Go through about 1/4 inch and come right out. And you see there's the offset shank there. You want to pull the hook so that the worm is stuck there in the offset shank. Now what I'm going to do, if you guys haven't done this for bass, you totally got to check it out. I'm going to push all the way through the worm here. Now you can see that the barb and the hook point are exposed. And now we're just going to push forward on the rubber worm and pull back and bury everything in there. So this is what you're left with at the end. It's a fairly weedless rig. I'm fishing this on 8-pound test fluorocarbon. I've got one of St. Croix's Legend Extreme spinning rods. They're 610 medium power. I like a medium power for my 1/8 ounce weights. And it's just a killer setup here. So let's go back and get another one.
My goal when fishing the Texas rig is to work it slowly along the contour of the weed edge, very much like a slinky making its way down a flight of stairs. I want the Texas rig to make contact with the weed cover during the entire retrieve, so in order to do that, I must work the lure very slowly.
There we go. Oh yeah, now that was a noticeable thud. There we go. Oh, nice bass too, guys. That's a beauty. Wow. Gorgeous fish. Put the net on that one for sure. Now that was the thud I'm talking about. Let's see here. Come here. All right. That is awesome. Beauty. Beauty right there. Marked a waypoint because I'm scouting new water here. Let me show you what this bass looks like. There we go. Beautiful fish, guys. How about that? Another nice largemouth bass. Let's get her back in the drink.
I pull the rig toward me by raising the rod upward and then slowly lowering the rod back toward the lure while reeling in the slack line. My goal is to allow the worm to fall freely, but to always have a very slight amount of tension in the line so that I can detect strikes on the drop. When a bass grabs your worm on the drop, many times the only indication of the strike is a light thump, which is transmitted through the line into the rod. Other times the line will just go slack, so it is very important to watch your line for movement at all times.
This is why we love them, right? That is awesome. That is awesome. Woo! Another one. Right on my waypoint. Man, look at that fish fight. Yeehaw! That's what I'm talking about, baby. Alright, come here now. Come here. Come here. Let me show the folks what we got going on. Alright. There you go, guys. Texas rigging it. In the weeds. Weeds Texas rig. It is the way to go, baby. Let's get her back. Here's a little tip for you guys on saving your worm's life expectancy. So the worm's not really beat up, but the part up on top here where you put the hook in, this is beat up. And all you do is snip the top off and then re-rig it like you normally would. This will save the life of your worms by, gosh, I have no idea what, but it really helps me get the most out of these worms. Rig it up the same way. I mean, what is that now? You know, it looks about the same. So when they get beat up, just cut the top off.
Windy conditions make it harder to detect strikes on such light tackle, so to combat this, I position the boat into the wind and then position my body so that I can cast downwind. Doing this helps me keep my line out of the wind and closer to the surface of the lake so that I can better detect the strikes. Another important tip to help when fishing thick weed cover on windy days is to take shorter casts. Doing this will increase your accuracy and overall control of the lure.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, nice. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That is what I'm talking about. Woo! Hit that. Excellent. Let's put the net on this guy. We'll put the net on this bass. Come here. All right, there we go. We got her. All right. Well, guys, you can definitely see the effectiveness of first searching with a crankbait and then coming back after them with a finesse presentation like the Texas rig. That is just awesome. Waypointing them too, so you know where you're at in relation to the other pods of largemouth bass that you're working on big water. Guys, thanks for watching this bass segment.
Chaz Martin's Musky Mastery Outdoors is brought to you by Joe Booker Outdoors, #1 in big game fish products, and by St. Croix Rods, best rods on earth. Fish more, worry less.